Okay, let's talk about Switzerland. It's a country you hear one word for over and over. Perfect, right? I mean, from the insane crystal clear water to landscapes that seriously look like a computer made them up, so many people visit and come away saying the exact same thing. But is perfect really the whole picture? We're going to find out if this fairy tale has a cat. And honestly, that first impression hits you hard. Switzerland is a real life fairy tale. You get there and you immediately see why someone would say that. The whole country just feels like you've stepped right into a storybook. But like any good story, there's always a twist in the plot. And here it is, the twist. See, Switzerland kind of holds two competing titles at the same time. On one hand, yeah, it's constantly voted as having the highest quality of life in the world. But on the other hand, it's also one of the priciest places on the entire planet. So what's the real deal? Is this a paradise that you can actually, afford to enjoy? All right, so first up, let's lean into that fairy tale vibe. What is it exactly that makes this country feel so unreal? Well, it's a whole bunch of things that honestly feel almost too good to be true. You're driving through these towns that look like enchanted villages pulled straight from a Disney movie. You can walk down these old cobblestone streets in a town called Brienne's, a street voted the most beautiful in all of Europe, by the way. And you're passing by restaurants that are literally older than the United States. And just everywhere you look, there are these impossibly blue lakes, and even public fountains with water so pure you can drink it right from the spout. It's wild. And that bright blue water, it's not a filter, it's not Photoshop. The science behind it is actually pretty cool. It's all about something called glacial flour. Basically, for centuries, glaciers have been grinding up rock into this super fine powder. These tiny little particles just hang suspended in the water. They reflect the sunlight, and bam, you get that iconic, unbelievable turquoise color. It's all geology. Okay, but every fairy tale has its dragon, right? And in Switzerland, that dragon is guarding your wallet. It's time to talk about the moment the dream slams into financial reality, the sticker shock. And man, it happens fast. The second you get there, the costs start piling up in ways you might not even expect. It starts with just trying to get from point A to point B. Just to get around? Okay, get this. The cheapest rental car available was a jaw-dropping $180 a day. And that's before you even buy gas or pay for parking. Ouch. So, speaking of high prices, let's talk about where you're going to sleep. A traveler in this super popular adventure town called Interlaken wanted to show what $300 a night gets you. So, for $300, what are you picturing? Something pretty nice, right? And yep, that's it. A simple, pretty small room. I mean, it's clean, it's functional, sure. But for that kind of money, I think most people are expecting a little more, well, a lot more. So, yeah, $300 for a very, very basic night's sleep. The perspective is just, wow, it's expensive. All right, so you gotta eat, right? And getting a classic Swiss cheese fondue, I mean, that feels like a must-do experience. But that experience, well, it also comes with a pretty premium price tag. So, a classic fondue for two people, maybe a couple of glasses of wine, that'll set you back about $120. The takeaway here is pretty clear. Even the simplest, most classic cultural things are going to cost you. Okay, so you're spending a fortune just to exist there. What are you actually getting for all that money? Well, this is where Switzerland's other personality comes out to play. We're talking world-class, high-octane adventure. And the sheer variety of stuff you can do is just staggering. I mean, in just a few days, you can take a tram up to the top of Europe at over 11,000 feet, walk through an ice palace that's literally carved inside a glacier, fly down a mountain on a zip line, race down trails on this scooter bike thing called a trotty bike, rappel 150 feet down into a canyon, and then, just casually run off a cliff and paraglide over the valley. It is non-stop adrenaline. And we're not talking about some tame, watered-down tourist traps here. These experiences are intense. As one adventurer put it, the Swiss do not mess around. These are some serious thrills, all set against this absolutely stunning backdrop. So all of this leads to the big question. Why? Why is everything so ridiculously expensive? And the answer isn't random. It's actually deeply tied to the country's whole economy and its cultural identity. So let's break it down. Why is everything so expensive? Well, there are basically two huge forces at play here that explain the high prices for everything, from a hotel room to a simple block of cheese. First off, people who live and work in Switzerland earn really high wages, and that's not by accident. It's because they have this highly skilled, super specialized workforce and economic policies that make sure people are paid well. So when everyone, from the person cleaning your hotel room to the person who made your fondue cheese, is paid a great wage, well, the cost of their services and products is naturally going to be higher for the rest of us. And second, there is a cultural obsession with quality. The whole Swiss made label, that's way more than just a marketing slogan. It's a promise. It's a reflection of a national identity that's been built over centuries on precision, on craftsmanship, and on engineering. This laser focus on making everything absolutely top of the line, whether it's a luxury watch or the public train system, just costs more to produce and maintain. You're not just paying for a thing, you're paying for perfection. Okay, so with all of that in mind, how do we balance it all? The breathtaking beauty on one side and the eye-watering bills on the other. Let's get to the final verdict. So here's the final balance sheet, right? In the pros column, you've got these unbelievable Disney-like landscapes. You have world-class, thrilling adventures, and you get premium, top-notch quality in pretty much everything you do. The cons column? Well, it's pretty simple. The staggering costs for travel, a place to sleep, and even just food. And yet, even after adding up all those crazy expenses, the conclusion you hear from travelers is almost always the same. The experience is just so profound, so incredibly beautiful, and so exciting that the cost, while yeah, it's painful, it doesn't seem to ruin the magic. That feeling of perfection still wins out. Which brings us to the ultimate question. We've pretty much established that it's as close to perfect as a country can get. But the real question you have to ask yourself is this: is that perfection worth the price? And I guess that's for every single traveler to decide for themselves.